Good morning. Uh, we will continue the Manu and social laws. In the last class, I stopped when I was saying that how king should take uh, the positive and negative aspect of his all actions. Then he will judge. And we are discussing this positive and negative aspect of all actions in the context of war. That a king should go to the war after judging all the positive and of negative side of winning, whether he is going to win or if war happens that what he is going to lose, what he is going to gain. So all these uh, aspects must be thought by the king before he takes any final decision so far as war is concerned. And I gave the example of in Mahabharata how Arjuna initially denied to have any war because he was having the negative aspect of the war, that the war will destroy uh, these things. And then Krishna tried to convince Arjuna, there is also a positive side of this war, so it is your duty to do the work. So war is having the higher utility than not having any war. Then Arjuna balanced his thought, and he took his gandu and fight against the evil Kauravas. So that's the example I give, and I left at that point. So along with that, because we are discussing it, uh, what is that quote? We are discussing what are the principles and policies of the government, uh, you know, given by Manu. Manu has given, principles relating to public security and principles relating to the international relation. And we are discussing about, policies or principles relating to the international relation. In that context, I discussed about his war policy of the king. So along with that, Manu has prescribed detailed rules for strategy for king who is facing the attack. Right? So there is certain prescription to the king, or the king as an attacker, and there are also certain principles prescribed in the Manusmriti, for the attacked, the king who is attacking and the king who is getting attacked. There are different policies and strategy for the king mentioned in the Manusmriti. The king should march during the season favorable for the army and should provide necessary weapon to the troops. And today also in the modern warfare system, we apply this principle that you know with whom you are fighting, you must see the climatic condition of that space. If that climate is not conducive for your troop or army, your army may die. So it is better to do a attack in the favorable season, right? Favorable season, ठीक महीना में हम अटैक करेंगे, गलत महीना में हम अटैक करेंगे. If we will attack in the wrong season, then before enemy killed us, we will be killed by the nature, we will killed by the season itself. And Manu also talks about providing necessary weapons to the troop. Then signing treaties comes to the next to the battle. Manu talks about three objective subject treaties. Now, after having a war, uh, and you are defeating the counterpart, then Manu prescribing that you must sign a treaty. And there are three objectives of the treaty. So the first objective is the ally, Mitra or Maitra. It means after the war, to whom you are defeating, you can do a friendship with with your counterpart, and that is hiranya or money. If you are winning over a territory, then also you are getting resources, monetary resources and non-monetary resources. Then bhumi, land. I mean, when you are winning over a king, then the land of that defeated king will becomes your land. So king's prosperity, all these three aspects are related with the king's prosperity. The king who won the war, uh, has a chance towards prosperity. However, a king's prosperity does not so much depend on acquisition of money or land, rather on royal ally. That is very important, right? I mean, the king, you know, may not get that much benefits if he acquires money or land. Rather, if a king gets a friend, ally, then that uh, you know helps the king or kingdom to prosper more and more. And here, I think that the ally does not help to the who- winner or the king who won the battle. Not only prosper the winner king, but also it prosper the loser king also, the ally. So the I mean, what Manu is saying that friendship is much more valuable than this money, and that is a very important message today in a materialistic society. How we give much more importance on the money and land, and we are not maintaining the proper friendship. So, in a different context, Manu gave importance to the ally uh, than money or land. So one thing, let me say you before I continue it. Next, we will discuss about Manu and VARNASHRAMA. Right? What is his views on VARNASHRAMA? Let me say something that see, I am you know recording, self-recording my talk. I'm uploading on the YouTube so that uh, by the link what I'm sending, you can see my video. Uh, I think that will help you to understand what I am saying. Otherwise, there was some network problem while we were involved in the classroom lecturers. And if you have any doubt, you can use WhatsApp to ask me questions, and I can also reply by the same via media, by same WhatsApp actually. So I don't know in what are these disadvantage of this mode of teaching and learning. There is seriously network problem here, and that is why I planned in this way that I will do some uh, audio and video, I mean visuals. Then I will upload in my uh, what YouTube channel. I have a channel. So if you want to subscribe, you can also subscribe, no problem. But I'm not, you know, uh, asking you to subscribe. It depends on you. But I will surely send you the link, and in that link you go through my talks, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So let's move on the Varnasrama. What is Manu's, understanding of, Varnasrama? Now, in his social conceptualization, Manu has divided the whole society into four varna. If you remember Plato, every individual says three qualities: reason, spirit, appetite. And the qualities what is inside the individual that resemblance a kind of uh, uh, you know categories in the society, and philosopher, then the soldiers, then the artisan class, right? Maybe Plato has borrowed it from our dharma shastra, or from Manu, maybe from Manu. So Manu has given the similar kind of, much before Plato, Manu has given such kind of classification, that in a social conceptualization, Manu has divided the whole society into four varna: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. And the duties of all varna are different yet complementary to each other. That is very important. Today, understanding this varna and contesting this system of varna uh, is more political, than intellectual. But if you try to, understand this four varna system intellectually, then you will find that all these four varna are, uh, you know, different, but at the same time they are complementary and supplementary to each other. I mean, Brahman needs Kshatriya, Kshatriya needs Vaishya, Vaishya needs Sudra, Sudra needs Vaishya, Vaishya needs Kshatriya, Kshatriya needs Brahmana. So all are, complementary relations. Monu has acknowledged the principles of integration of all social units for the purpose of universal welfare related to the cosmic cycle, where a man's right were granted automatically if he performs his duties. Right? That is very important. What Monu is saying that, and remember the Plato again, that if a philosopher king, soldiers, or the artisan class, they will do their duty, then it will create a kind of good life or good society. And in the good society, the duties performed by you will ensure your right automatically. Again, the similar thought, Manu has also talked about. Manu is saying that all these four category or four social units, uh, you know, there should be an integration of all these four units. So they should not disintegrate. They should integrate. They should understand their complementariness, their supplementariness, and then only the purpose of universal welfare relating to the cosmic cycle. There is a purpose of, you know universe, and the purpose of universe is actually the welfare of all individuals. So the welfare of all individual, which is the purpose of the universal, will satisfy if the integration of all these four social units, happens, where a man's right were granted automatically. I mean, you don't need any court of law or any constitution. You don't uh, you know uh, need to demand for your right, rather than your voluntary performance of your duties will ensure your rights, right? And in his opinion, the social order can be maintained only if all four burners perform their respective duties suitably in a harmonious manner. Harmonious manner means that uh, every category will accept and respect one another's position and contribution. They should not think that somebody is higher or lower. The Sudra will acknowledge the Brahmana's contribution, and Brahmana will acknowledge the Sudra's contribution. The Brahmana should not demand Sudra is inferior, and Sudra should not challenge the superiority of Brahman. So there is no challenge actually. So there is no domination and there is no challenge. The Brahmana will not dominate and the Sudra will not challenge. They will accept their position and they will accept the position of one another, right? And maybe Monu, that is what he understands when he's saying that the social order should be or can be maintained only if all four Varna perform their respective duties suitably in a harmonious manner. So if in such a manner, if all these social units or Varna, they perform their duties, then uh, the purpose of the universal, that is the welfare of every individual, will be possible. According to Manu, one who performs his duties in the right manner attains heavenly state, and all his desires are fulfilled in his, uh, you know, uh, all his desires are fulfilled in his lifetime. I mean, if you perform your duties, then at the end of your life, there will be a great satisfaction because you will feel that, okay, I have done all these works, what I should do in my life. So right now I can happily die. So that desire of a meaningful life gets satisfied with the performance of these duties. That is first. And secondly, the performance of your duties also uh, you know uh, you know gives a space for you in the heaven, right? So again, it is a thought. We are not sure about that. We are human being. We are very small creature. We exactly don't know what happens when we die, and what is truth. Our soul is truth, or our body is truth. But it is believed that we are not real, we are unreal, and the reality that we cannot see. Maybe after your death, your soul goes to a different world, and that world is the reality. It is a belief. I i i don't have any gods to challenge this belief. I do not have any argument or facts to take or challenge it. But if there is an heavenly state, then your duties, the performance of your duties, you know, gives a heavenly place or secure a heavenly place for your soul. So Manu tried to create a pluralistic, society. But before that, let me say you, Manu, dwells on karma as he believes that man's birth is decided according to the performance in his previous life. So this is primarily a Hindu thought, that there is something called a previous life, and whatever is happening to you in this life, that has a direct connection, with your previous life, with your karma in your previous life. So the previous the deeds in the previous life, is Manu and to the traditional society, and I also believe in that. Let me say you that deeds decide that whether the kind of pain and pleasure you get in this world, in this birth, right? Monu tried to create a pluralistic society by offering special hereditary occupations and cultural freedom to the de de-tribalized de-tribalized caste, right? What is this de-tribalized caste? De-tribalized caste means that Monu accept that once upon a time, everyone was tribe, but with the course of time, that de-tribalization happened. Different castes emerged, and all these different castes, uh, they have two important aspects attached to them. So one is their hereditary occupation, and second is their cultural freedom. So every caste, every category, every community, caste community, uh, have their own cultural freedom, and have their own source of economy. So both are very important to the traditional Indian life. and that is one is the economy, that is something called hereditary occupation, and the other one is the cultural culture. So economy and culture are two important aspects of traditional Indian life. Manu also mentions various tribes like uh, Nisadas, then Ambathas, etc., and prescribed the occupation they could take up. He included even the foreign tribe into uh, the category of Sudra, and they were regarded as the twice born. Right. So there are certain detribalized castes, but along with the detribalized caste, there are some tribal people also. And Manu, you know what Manu does, he recognized a certain tribe, and he so far as their occupation is concerned, Manu prescribes that, or Manusmriti prescribes that the occupation of those tribe uh, depends their interest of their profession. I mean, if the tribe wants to worship, then he can be a Brahmin. If the tribe wants to fight, I mean, that freedom of choice, so far as occupation is concerned, Manu or Manusmriti has given to those tribes. Now, Manu included even the foreign tribe into the category of Sudra, and they were regarded as the twice born. Uh, Foreign tribe. Why foreign tribe are the twice born? Uh, it's primarily because uh, they, uh, from okay. Let me think. Why foreign tribes are were regarded as the twice born? Primarily because uh, maybe uh, from foreigners to they are converting to the tribes. That is sorry. uh, why these foreign tribes were called the twice born? Primarily because initially they are born in a particular foreign family or Christian family, and when they uh, join the Sudra category, because foreign tribes were included in the Sudra category according to the Manusmriti. So when they join the Sudra category, then they are also again born. So that's why there is a twice birth. So first birth is from their mother, and second birth is because of they are joining to the Sudra community, and that's why these foreign tribes were called the twice born. The importance to custom given by Manu is considered essential for the maintenance of the social life. These customs were based on these customs were based on the religious principles and were binding. So I'm sorry, there is some problem actually. Uh, the importance of custom given by Manu is considered essential for the maintenance of social life. The customs were based on the religious principles and were binding on all individuals. Social organization formed the basis of polity, and Manu gives its due attention. As I said, there are two important aspects of the traditional Hindu life. That is, economy and the culture. And Manu is saying that culture is very important for the maintenance of social life. It is a very essential feature, and these customs were primarily the religious principles or prescription, and these religious principles and prescription, what Manu calls custom, is binding on all individuals. So in all individuals, they're guided by the religious prescription, principles, rituals, and the social organization form the basis of the polity. So the culture which is primarily the religious principle and prescription, uh, that culture creates a social organization, and the social organization uh, you know uh, creates the polity. So ultimately the polity or the politics is is uh, is the superstructure, and the base is the religious principle, commandments, prescription. These are the base, and Manu uh, gives these religious principles and the base, and the polity, which is the superstructure, his due attention. Right? So Manu examines the inheritance of the Manu examines the inheritance and property rights of women, and he uses the term Stridhan, which refers to special kind of property given to the woman on certain occasion in different stages of her life. And there is also a discussion on the economic position of widows. A widow had the right to retain her ornament. So since we are discussing about Varnashram, we are discussing about Monu's society, Monu's social rules and regulation. That is, this is very important, and that how Manu was also a feminist. Manu was a feminist, but he was not. He was a different kind of feminist. At that time, society was denying everything to the woman, and Manu, uh, you know, uh, he examines uh, whether the woman has the right or over the inheritance of their parental property or not. Uh, but Manu, after examining it, for Manu, the special kind of property should be given to the woman. Special kind of property, and on certain occasions in different stages of our life. And actually, what we do actually, what we call uh, property in the form of dowry. So uh, we also practiced it. Today, legally, the daughter has the right over the property of his parents, but it is going to have its bad consequence for so far as the social life is concerned. But at that time, Manu suggested that certain special kind of property should be given to the woman. I mean, it is at different occasion or different stages of her life. There are different stages of her life. So during her marriage, some property will be given in a different form. What we call dowry. Dowry is a very negative term, but dowry, positively speaking, it is a special kind of property that is given to the daughter. It is the right of the daughter over the parents, over the father's property. And dowry is a special kind of property that is given to the woman. Along with that, there are different occasion in the life of a daughter after her marriage, and in the different situation, different occasion, the father uh, should give uh, the special kind of gifts to the daughter. However, the daughter cannot demand uh, over the property the way sons they demand. So basically, the sons has the right over the property, that inheritance right, but daughter they don't have. But they will be given in the different stages of their life. Uh, you know, they will be given the special kind of property on the different occasions in their different stages of life. Along with that, Manu also talks about the economic position of the widows. You know, to him, the widow had the right to retain her ornament. At maybe that at that time, after you become the widow, then everything was taken away from you, because that is not you know uh, meaningful for you. So a widow cannot retain his property; his rights were taken away. But Manu suggested that that widow had the right to retain her ornament, because her ornament uh, is also economy to her. So her ornament can help her to sustain after her death death of her husband. So the next section is that statecraft and legal tenets of Manu. So various aspects of the statecraft, such as royal revenue, its administration, expenditure, has been dealt in Manusmriti. Chapter 7 of the text deals with the methods and principles of taxation comprehensively. And the king could not levy taxes nor change the rates at his pleasure, as the rate of the tax were fixed. So, see, I have not read the Manusmriti, but by reading a different, you know, uh, text, textual text, I'm just letting you know that the chapter 7, it is saying that Manu in the chapter 7 of Manusmriti has dealt with statecraft, especially relating to the revenue, the royal revenue, and the administration of royal revenue, the expenditure of royal revenue. And in the chapter 7, Manu has prescribed the king uh, cannot, you know could not levy the taxes, or nor the king can change the rates of tax at his pleasure, because the rates of tax are actually fixed. So basically, king is the implementer. So everything is there in the dharma, or in the Manusmriti, everything is written. The king has to follow the rules and regulation. Right? So Manusmriti in due course of time became the source of modern legal literature and procedure for European and legal practitioner. And several notable works on Hindu laws have drawn heavily from the Manusmriti. So Manusmriti is not only is a very important reference point for the statecraft. It is also very important reference point for the legal tenets, for the legal jurisprudence of India and of whole world. So this Manusmriti, in the due course of time, the modern legal, literature and procedure of both Europe and the non-Europe and Indian, they derive many things. Their legal jurisprudence, their legal discourse has derived enormously from Manusmriti, and several notable works on Hindu laws have drawn heavily from the Manusmriti. So Manusmriti has acted as the base of the legal tenets. Right? And one criticism often leveled against Manu is his mixing of laws with religion. Manu claimed that his laws have divine origin, but this can be seen as uh, is more a sign of the era he lived in, and there is nothing fundamentally wrong in it. So, today, maybe Ambedkar also, even some of the Ambedkarite, they may also criticize Manu, that no doubt Manu has talked about, laws and the whole world, the Indian legal jurisprudence, Hindu laws. They have derived enormously from this Manusmriti. But the problem with Manusmriti and his concept of law is that he related laws with the religion. Uh, but then again, there is also a counter argument to this challenge, that since Manu has talked about the divine origin theory, So law, uh, in in his theory, every theory is a product of his time. So that time you have to take into account, that time you have to take into account his conceptualization of that time. So at that time, the divine origin theory of the state was actually prevailing, and that's why the law cannot be separated from the divine, and divine cannot be separated from the religion. And secondly, there is also no fundamental wrong about it, that you cannot say that law is not related to the religion or divine. Like, yesterday I was saying that it is irrational to say that you are rational. It is stupidity to say that you are the intellectual. Right? There are many things that we do not know. The code of Manu also talks about the established practices that encompasses the observance of the caste, domestic rituals. Right? Let me, okay, let me say something, that why, as I said, there is nothing fundamentally wrong in it, connecting law with the religion. Why you are, questioning Manu? If you go to the various civilization in the non-Indian civilization, then you will find that they are also having the similar kind of understanding. Their law was very much related with their religion, right? Any civilization you go and search, you will find. The Code of Manu also talks about established practices that encompass the observance of the caste, domestic rituals, funeral rites, religious and philosophical discussion on the subject of secular law. Manu, uh, you know, Manu always emphasized a way of life in accordance with the philosophy and spirit of Vedas. His emphasis on the religious and philosophical aspects are all part of the cultural tradition of the subcontinent. So, as I said, that Manu, whatever Manu said, even today also there is relevance. Even what is not relevant, you simply cannot dismiss it, because Manu is not staying today. Manu, he was the product of his time. And in the Manu Smriti, there are various established practices that has been mentioned, such as observance of the caste, domestic rituals, uh, then funeral rites, religious and philosophical discussion on the subject of secular laws. I mean, the secular laws is not anti-religious, and it is not anti civilizational values. And today also people like Ashish Nandi and T. N. Madan, they are holding such views that there is a religious and philosophical aspect to secularism. So secularism is not anti-religious, and to some extent, Rajiv Bhargav, he also hold such kind of position. So Manu always emphasized a way of life in accordance with the philosophy and the spirit of Veda. His emphasis on religion and philosophical aspect are all part of the cultural, tradition of the subcontinent. All right. So the way of life, the good life of individual is, according to the philosophy and spirit of Veda. I mean, if you are following the Veda, if you are with the Veda, if you are obeying the prescription of the Veda, if you understand the philosophy of Veda, then only you can have a good life or a way of life. And this emphasis of religious and philosophical aspect uh, to the way of life or good life is because of the cultural tradition of this subcontinent. So it is two-way process. It is actually this two-way process, that Manu learns from the society, and society also learn from Manu. A comprehensive study on the ancient laws anywhere in the world will make it clear that no distinction was made by society between faith, belief, ritual, custom, morality, and ethics on one hand, and different provisions of positive law on the other. As I said before. that it is unfair to criticize Monu only because all these, um, if you see the anywhere in the world, any civilization, then you will find that there is no distinction between faith, belief, rituals, custom, morality, and ethics on one hand, and different provisions of positive law on the other hand. Every civilization, uh, you know, um, every civilization uh, did not make the distinction between these, two. So for Manu, the whole Vedas were the source of dharma or law, and he classified laws under seven heads and called Vyavaharapada, Vyavaharapada. And what are those, 18 heads of laws? That means there is laws relating to the non-payment of the debts, right? And there are laws that is related with the depository and place. There are laws that is related with the sale without ownership. There are laws concerning among partners. There are laws uh, relating to the resumption of gifts. There are laws for the non-payment of wages. There are laws relating to the non-execution of agreement. There are laws relating to the recession of the sales and purchase. There are laws relating to the disputes between the owner and the servant. There are laws relating to the dispute regarding the boundaries. There are laws relating to the assault. There are laws relating to the defamation. There are laws relating to the theft. There are laws relating to the robbery and violence. There are laws relating to the adultery. There are laws relating to the duties of man and wife, husband and wife. There are laws relating to the separation of husband and wife. There are laws relating to the gambling and betting. So these are the 18, category or heads of laws. And Manu, he classified the laws under these 18 heads. Then Manu is saying that Manu adds that this classification, this 18-fold classification, does not encompasses all types of disputes, but only those which are important. Then Manu is saying that he, the crime or the law is not limited to this 18 classification. There are also many more crimes. There is also the requirement of many more laws. However, Manu is saying that these 18 are very important, and these 18 are what is that these 18 are yes, these 18 are very important. So we will continue. I am stopping here. So hope you understand, Manu, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. So we will have a better understanding. I am also understanding with you, but the primary text I have not gone through this Manu Smriti. I'm reading the textual text and trying to make sense and understand and let you understand it, right? So if you have any query, you can write it in the WhatsApp, and let me try to handle your questions. So thank you very much.